Number 5, last night. A friend rushed me out of the house to catch the opening act at a local bar's music night. After a few drinks, I reached into my pocket. My phone wasn't there. I checked the table we were sitting at, the bar, the bathrooms, nothing. So I used my friend's phone and called mine. It rang twice. Someone answered. There was a low, raspy giggle, then silence. They hung up. They didn't answer again. I eventually gave up, figured it was gone, and headed home. And when I walked into my bedroom, my phone was lying on my nightstand, right where I'd left it. And number 4, when I was a kid, I was always the last one waiting for the school bus. One morning, I was standing there alone. Then a bus pulled up, no kids inside. The driver smiled and told me to hop on. I had a bad feeling. I asked, "Where are the other kids?" He said, "We'll go get them now. Just get on." He started getting more pushy, more impatient, but never crossed the line. I just kept saying no. Finally, he shrugged and drove away. A few minutes later, the real bus showed up. I went to school. My parents didn't know until I mentioned it that night. Looking back now, they were really worried. I remember them scrambling, making phone calls. Number 3, a few years back, I rented an apartment from a friend. He had just bought it, completely renovated it. It was supposed to be temporary. After moving in, I realized something was wrong with the woman next door. She was about 45, but looked much older. Every night, she stayed awake, Christian radio blasting, talking loudly to someone. It got so bad, I couldn't sleep. So one night, I went over and asked her to keep it down. She opened the door. I only saw inside for a second. Her walls were covered in crosses, painted in different colors. Words like Jesus, angels, scribbled everywhere. The windows were painted black, no light coming in. Old, damp, yellow-stained carpets, dog shit, cockroaches. No dog. I asked her again to please keep it down. She just stared at me, then shut the door and turned the radio even louder. The next night, my girlfriend was staying over. I woke up in the middle of the night and saw a shadow standing next to the bed, watching us sleep. I thought I was hallucinating, half asleep, like sometimes happens in the dark. Then the shadow spoke. It was her, my neighbor. She was holding something. She said calmly, "You should lock your doors at night." Then she walked out. The next morning, I heard strange noises outside my bedroom window. It was her, talking to herself, speaking in tongues. She was holding a plastic bag. Inside it, her dead dog, rotting. It was hot outside, and I could smell death. At that point, I was terrified. I knocked on another neighbor's door. He was just as scared as I was. Apparently, she had broken into his apartment too. One night, while he was watching TV with his kids, he stood up to grab a snack and found her, standing behind the couch, staring at him, holding a power drill. That's when it hit me. I knew what she had been holding. In my bedroom. I called the cops. They already knew her, violent schizophrenic, off her medication, but they couldn't force her or enter her apartment. She owned it. The only thing they could do was wait for her to go outside. So I stayed awake. 2 days, no sleep, waiting for her to run out of cigarettes at around 2 a.m. She left to walk across the street. to the 7-Eleven. I called the police. They arrived in less than 2 minutes, 3 cars, and a special van. They restrained her, put her in the van, and drove away. And just like that, she was gone. I never saw her again. I still have nightmares about her standing over me, watching me sleep. Number 2. I was about 15 minutes from finishing my night shift at work when there was a massive crash. One of the office windows shattered. Someone had thrown a large rock through the front of the building. This was especially strange. I worked in an industrial district. Around 11:30 at night, no other businesses open. I called security, let them know, and decided to head home. As I was leaving, I kept freaking myself out. I ran to my car, jumped in, and drove off. Almost home. I finally started to calm down. Then I realized something. I never unlocked my car. It had been unlocked the whole time. I checked the back seat, just in case. Nothing there. About 30 minutes later, I called a friend. He was out drinking, so I grabbed my bike and headed over. Quiet road. Nice night. Moonlight. I heard someone riding behind me. I moved to the side of the road. He passed me slowly. When he was right next to me, he smiled. That smile was completely insane. I flinched and watched him ride off. That's when I realized he was riding my mom's bike. I sprinted home when I got there. Her bike was gone, and one of my car doors, the back left one, was open. I had been driving. There was no reason for it to be open. Number 1, I worked night shift at a campground from midnight to 8 in the morning. It wasn't bad. I brought my S2, played games most nights. It was just me, in a small 8x8 shack. Nothing around, just darkness. During my first week, the guy I replaced warned me about a payphone a few feet from the shack. He said it rang every night at exactly 4:17 a.m., just once. He thought it was an automated test call. He never answered it. Months passed. It was summer, so I kept the windows closed. Then, in mid-August, I started leaving them open. And sure enough, every morning at 4:17 a.m., and the phone rang once. Even the ring sounded wrong, like the phone had been underwater and put back. One night, I finally worked up the nerve. I set an alarm for 4:15, waited by the phone. When it rang, I answered. Nothing. Just dead air. Like someone was there, but refusing to speak. I said hello a few times, then hung up. I did this every night for a week. Same result. So I stopped. About a month later, early October, I answered again. I said hello. Over and over. Then I heard it. Breathing, inhaling, through clenched teeth. A rough voice, like gravel. He said my full name. First, middle, last. A voice I had never heard before. My throat tightened. I hung up. I dropped some change. Hit star 69. The call came from California. I lived in Indiana.